And we're back.
Are we?
Yeah. Come on, get some energy.
Of course we're back.
I am so excited, as usual, but
we have something every episode.
I do, but we have something very, very, very neat today that we've never had before. We have an insider in the car business right now that is going to not only tell us about the current and future car market, he's going to make predictions and all that stuff that you hear on the news. You might want to throw it out the window when you hear this man today. Welcome to the Auto Authorities Podcast. My name is Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of Auto Agent. We are real estate agents for people's cars. We help you sell your car at no cost to you. We market, list, and show your vehicle and handle that sticky money transaction. And we help you buy cars nationwide. We'll handle everything from A to Z, keep you in control the entire time. And this is my co-host, Mr. David Marks with Quality Auto Repair and Tire. Yes, that's right, folks. He has rebranded his company. Woo! And we have a special guest, Gerald Bentley, that we're going to meet in 1 second here. Are you ready to do this, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride when buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the podcast that tells you what to watch out for, whether you're buying, selling,
or repairing your car.
With 47 years of automotive experience, we are the Automotive Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by AutoAgent. We're real estate agents for cars.
And Quality Auto STL. Trusted services with no surprises.
Booyah!
Yeah.
Dramatic.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Auto Authorities Podcast. I am Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of AutoAgent. This is Mr. David Marks. And before we get going and meeting our special guest, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Podcastify.me. They make this beautiful show every single week. And if you want your own podcast just like ours, contact Podcastify.me. And we want you to watch us on our podcast, our group page on Facebook. If you go to the Facebook group page and you type in the Auto Authorities Podcast, you can click the join group button and you're going to be able to see this beautiful, beautiful presentation live at 12 p.m. Central Time. And we're on about 19 different channels such as iTunes and Pandora and all those things. But you can also watch us on YouTube as well. So if you're on YouTube, you can just click the subscribe button. You can click the notification button and you will be notified for every single one of our podcasts. And please leave reviews when you're on iTunes. Leave a review. Let us know how we're doing. And if you have questions, go. We've been getting a lot of questions. I know you don't see them as much as I do, but we're getting a lot of people. There's some questions out there and people are very confused. So if you're confused about a car situation, send us a message, theautoauthorities.com. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Gerald Bentley. Who is Gerald Bentley? Gerald Bentley is probably one of, not to make your head too big, Gerald, but one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in the car business right now. This guy knows exactly what's going on. He's going to tell you today, but let's learn a little bit about Gerald and his background. Gerald, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your background so everybody knows who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Sure. Well, I've been in car sales, auto management for over 20 years now, and actually kind of stumbled into it after having done morning drive radio, TV news, sports play-by-play, and I was a buyer for Nordstrom's. And ended up like most people in car sales, right? It's the job of last resort. The radio station got sold, and that's when I ended up at Nordstrom's. Nordstrom's cut their buying position, so they cleaved off a whole chunk of managers. And I was looking to do something. I liked sales. I liked talking to people. and finally got basically dragged into and convinced, hey, go give car sales a try. After not wanting to do it at all, hearing all the horror stories, right? It's horrible. You're going to work forever. You can't make any money. It's doomed to fail. And after thinking that for a week, I had one of the general managers at the dealership I was at tell me, hey, look, if you just concentrate and ignore everybody around you, you can do this and do really well. That was November of 2002. Between the week before Thanksgiving and the end of the month, I ended up selling 18 cars. And then I went on to average about 36 sales a month until I moved into being internet sales director. And then, various management jobs. General sales manager, was the manager of a small Honda dealership. And now I'm a pre-owned sales manager at one of the bigger Toyota dealerships in Kansas City.
Nice.
So a long winding road to get there.
Yeah. And you do know your stuff, Gerald. When I first met Gerald, like I feel like every time I talk to somebody in the car business, I feel like I am like teaching people, and like I'm the teacher, and this guy knows a ton. And I just really want to get into this. Like, thanks for sharing your background. I want to know, like, I know that our audience is listening right now. We want to know, like, starting with new cars, what's going on with new cars? What's going on with the chip shortage? Our cars coming in, like, what's it like? Because I know you're at a Toyota dealership, so give us kind of an overview of that.
Well, give you an idea, we ended Saturday with 0 new cars available on the ground, none. And we've been in that position really since about this time last year. Right after the stay-at-home orders ended, there was a surge of new cars for a couple of months, and then that was it. And what's been happening is we're getting about 100 vehicles in a month, and we sell about 100 vehicles a month. So you never build up any inventory, never any cars on the ground to buy. I mean, most of the months we've had something around 1% of our average new car inventory and about 10% of our average overall inventory on the ground. Because Jay, I'm sure you've noticed in your business, and Dave, probably in yours too, that the used cars aren't as available either. And Jay, I imagine your customers that are listing their cars with you, they're making a lot more money on the cars selling them than they would have a couple of years ago. And Dave, you're probably having a lot of people that are saying, hey, you know what? I was going to trade the car and not spend.
Fix it. Yeah, service.
I wasn't going to spend the $4,000 on the transmission repair, but I've looked around and I can't replace it. So yeah, let's fix it.
They just fix it. Fix it. I love it. Keep it going.
Yeah. And it's just a domino effect going around the whole industry, really.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions here in a little bit on that topic, but tell us, like, okay, I want a new car right now. I want a Toyota Camry, a very basic car.
Sure.
How fast can I get one?
It's a good question. It depends. If you're open to any Camry, because this is true with any new car, right? Because the number of models has decreased over the last 20 years, but the number of trim levels in each model has massively increased. So you can get an LE, you can get an SE, you can get an XSE, you can get a TRD, you can get a 4-cylinder, you can get a 6-cylinder, you can get a hybrid. If you're open to any Camry, it may be 90 days. If you want a specific, let's say you want here, the single hottest Camry is the wind chill pearl, black top, red leather interior, TRD Camry V6. It's a great looking car. People actually buy that and compare it to Dodge Chargers. So it's a car that appeals to guys, whereas usually the Camry is more of a car that appeals to older customers or women. But it's a great looking car. Your chance of getting one of those is about 0. There may be like 4 of them in the country. And you can see that in pretty much every brand. Drive across a state like Missouri, and what you'll notice is the only dealerships that have any inventory at all really are Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram dealerships, and they have two things. They have Gladiators and they have Wagoneers, and they'll have tons of them, and that's it. So it's really
That's
just a
interesting
matter
that
of
the
how
Jeep
open-minded we
brand
are.
has inventory and not the Dodge, or I still call it Dodge. I'm
Yeah.
still old school. It's Dodge Ram, and
Sure.
they don't have a higher inventory of Rams because that's one
No.
of the best-selling vehicles in
Yeah.
the nation.
Well, yeah, because people, if you need a truck, you need a truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what gas cost.
No,
you know?
I don't care.
If you
If
need
you're
to
looking for
tow
a truck, you don't worry
something,
about what gas is.
yeah, you need to tow something 5,000 pounds. You're not doing it in a Prius.
No.
And really, you can't get a Prius
That's
anyway,
right.
so it doesn't matter.
So what's the prediction? Like, when is this chip shortage going to end? Like, in your mind, like you're inside this every day. You see what's going on. When can we tell our public, like the people that are listening right now, when do you think it's going to end, where it's going to get back to, okay, I can just go buy a car, or is it going to?
I don't know. No time soon. At least a year. And, there's different, it's a confluence of events hitting. Toyota just did an interview with the Wall Street Journal yesterday, and they confirmed that for the Tundra factory in San Antonio, due to a shortage of available electric capacity in Texas, they're going to stop the schedule at 2:00 every day.
Wow, they're just running
So
one shift down there. Do they make Tacomas down there too?
no, it's the factory where they make the newly redesigned Tundra.
That
And
looks
they're going to
sweet.
stop the day. It's a great truck, but they're going to stop the day at 2:00 because of shortages in electric capacity.
So you mean so the state of Texas ain't got enough power to power the plant?
Ironically, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
the
surprised
state-
because the GM plant out here in Wentzville, they have their own power plant. We have a GM plant in the area. They have their own power plant at Wentzville. I'm surprised to hear that Toyota hasn't done that. If GM can do it, Toyota can do it.
Yeah, I don't know. But at some level, when there's infrastructure legislation passed and you think, it's just roads and bridges. Infrastructure can be a lot of stuff, and that could be part of the reason why there's not going to be as many Tundras out there for a while.
Wow.
So I've got a question, and this is what we've been telling our clients. So we help people buy and we help people sell their cars. That's what iAutoAgent does. And when people come to us, they're like, well, I want a new car, but I think I'm going to wait till things get better. And what I'm telling, and tell me if this is what you think, is that prices are not going down. They're going up. So the sooner you can get your new car, if you want a new car, you better darn well get it now and get it ordered and get it, especially if you're, I want to get a new car in about 6 months. We'll order it now and you'll get it in 6 months.
Sure. Possibly. Now, the phrase ordering is even kind of dangerous because a lot of brands, I know Ford has cut off orders on most cars because they don't know exactly what they're going to be able to produce. Subaru cut off orders months ago. Toyota, we haven't been able to directly order a car for over a year. So what you're getting is, and it's just a matter of whatever the brand calls it, allocation, disbursement, whatever. You're getting whatever's made. And then you can take the customer's names that you probably have in your CRM and match it up to what's coming, maybe trade for something somebody else has coming, but a specific order, like you would think, right, from the GM factory in Wentzville or the Chrysler factory out in St. Louis. Okay, I want this Pacifica van, and you get it with the window sticker with your name on it. Yeah, that's not happening. So,
well, here at us, they build Colorado Canyon and the full size Express vans. That's what they make in the Wentzville plant out here. And St. Louis doesn't have a Chrysler plant anymore. That's
they don't. Okay,
on for about a decade.
Well, then in Kansas City, you have the
big Ford plant,
the Ford plant with the F-150 and the Transit Connect van, and then
EV Connect and the Escape, I believe, too.
No, not the Escape anymore. Just the F-150 and the Transit. And then in Kansas City, Kansas, they make the Malibu and the Cadillac XT5. the
So
little
that red
Cadillac
Camry that
SUV.
you were talking about earlier, if somebody wanted to, you can't even special order one of those. They won't do
No,
it.
no. All you can do is see if you get one allocated and then
See if the
reserve
dealership
it.
that you go to gets one allocated.
Yeah, or that dealership
Wow.
can try to trade allocation.
Hmm.
But again, that's the single most popular one. So
Now, is that allocation? Is that just something specific to Toyota, or is that something that's kind of industry standard with GM, Ford, Nissan, Honda?
every brand does it. It's just different brands have different parameters of what the dealership can
So the
input or
dealership, again, it goes back
request.
to the relationship the dealer has with the manufacturer on what they get allocated.
Well, and usually it's based off percent of sales. So it doesn't necessarily mean your chances are any better with one dealership or the other, because the bigger dealerships get more cars because they sell more cars. But, from a customer's perspective, you only need one. So the small dealership getting 20 cars, maybe they don't have as many people on a waiting list. Maybe you got a better shot with them. It's, give and take. But
Wow.
yeah, every dealership has some sort of allocation, inventory allotment, whatever they call it. Chrysler, Hyundai, they're a little bit, usually have bigger inventory allocations. Domestic brands usually carry more inventory than import brands. But I think right now everything's really kind of up in the air.
Wow.
So this is amazing information. For all of you that are just joining us, we literally have a secret insider's look to what's going on currently in the car market, what's going to happen in the future. We have talked about amazing things. We have Gerald Bentley, who is a car expert in the industry right now, works at a dealership. So we're getting it, like, instead of getting it from the media, we're getting this raw and uncut. But what I want to get into, Gerald, is this is what I've heard, is that there's a lot of repossessions happening right now because of what's going on. So the stimulus money that all these people got, when they were throwing money at people, they said, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy a car," and they're like, "Oh, well, I'm going to go buy a car, and I'm going to really extend myself so much where
Sure.
if something happened, I wouldn't be able to make my payment." And now these people aren't able to make their payments. All these cars are being repossessed, which is causing a huge surplus of used vehicles. What do you see right now in the market? And do you see we're seeing the market drop right now on used cars.
Somewhat, not dramatically though. Part of the reason why the repossession numbers look like they've accelerated so much is because during the height of the pandemic, the banks weren't repossessing cars. They just didn't. I mean, there were almost no cars repossessed for, of course, about a
Just
year and
like
a
in the
half.
housing market, you couldn't just kick somebody out. You couldn't take somebody's car.
No, they
Now
kept
can.
extending. So while the numbers have accelerated dramatically, they're still not at anywhere near a historical high. And here, just give me an idea. My personal car, one of my personal cars, I have an Elantra that I bought a year and a half ago. That Elantra now has over $10,000 of equity based on a CarMax buy bid. And the bid number is over new sticker. So there hasn't been a cratering or a plummeting of prices. I don't think there will be, because you still have no new cars. And if you take a look at here, another St. Louis company, Enterprise is trying to sell to dealers, cars with 60, 70,000 miles on it at new sticker, or in some cases over new sticker. Because if a dealership that would normally have 150 or 200 used cars on the ground has 30, they need to get them, and they can't. CarMax is reaching out to dealerships to buy cars from dealerships.
Wow. Well, yeah, Enterprise is buying direct, so they can buy from the
Mhm.
manufacturer, use it, then sell it, and they're break even or make money.
Yeah. But of course, they're down cars too. That's why they're kicking them out further, and that helps guys like you, David, because if they're driving the cars out and renting them out to 65, 70,000 miles, that means they're having to do more work than usual, because their model generally was, we're going to gun it out to about 30 or 40, and then we'll get rid of it before we have to do anything significant. Now they're having to make repairs because they can't buy the cars.
Yeah.
So I don't really see anything changing dramatically until you see some sort of surplus of new car inventory, and nowhere
No,
close
we've
to
done
that.
more engine and transmissions than ever. Just
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, 4,500, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. They just say just because you can't get new ones. Or I just talk to people about this, and it's just, you can go buy something, but I don't want to. What you pay me is what you're going to pay in sales tax in the state of Missouri.
Sure. I mean, right now, 20,000 is the new 10.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't changed. For 15 years, customers come in and say, hey, I want to get a $10,000 used car, or I want to make a payment of $350 a month. That hasn't changed. That's always the answer. But the reality tells you the average new car sold last month sold for $47,000, record high. The average payment was $740 a month.
That's crazy.
So, okay, I want to be at $350 a month and $10,000, but reality tells you it's $47,750. So at some point, those two lines meet, right? So that's where you're at right now.
So Dave and I have been really digging into Carvana and their unethical practices along with Vroom. Tell us what you know about Carvana and Vroom, and what's your prediction for their future. And because of the unethical practices that they are doing right now, where do you see their future?
Well, here, how about Market Watch, CBS Market Watch? They projected Carvana as one of the stocks most likely to drop to zero and get delisted.
Yay!
And call them a zombie company.
Fuck them.
So,
who is this now?
Carvana. Market Watch put out an article, and they predict that Carvana is one of the companies most likely to fall to zero per share and get delisted. And here, I mean, just a quick summary, right?
And hey, are they on NASDAQ or the New York?
They're on the NYSE, I believe. Yeah. But and they made billions, right? They did it. They made billions, but they made billions by reinventing the way people buy cars. That was their line, right? Well, I don't think dealerships are going to run to a model where you make it up in the volume by losing $4,500 per car. That doesn't work. You can't lose $9,000 every 2 cars you sell and make it work, unless you have people feeding you money through the stock exchange because, oh my God, this is going to run dealerships out of business. It's not going to work. And the reality is, the whole line, and what captivated people is that, oh my God, going to a dealership is so bad. It's such a horrible experience. I made this analogy. It's kind of like Congress. Congress, when you look at the approval rating of Congress, historically, it's horrible. It's down in the low 20s. It's terrible. Yet, 75% of incumbents win re-election. The reason why is people love their own congressman, but they hate Congress in general. I think it's the same thing for dealers. People hate dealerships in general, but they may love, the Lou Fuse dealership that they go to in St. Louis because they know a manager there who they like a lot, and they have a salesperson, and he takes great care of them. I love those guys, and the service department's great. They're not going away from them. Now, they may, when you ask them, hey, what about car dealerships? They may well say, oh, I hate car dealerships. They're horrible. It's brutal. But that's in the abstract. In the concrete, the one that they go to, oh, well, they're great. And now you just do that with everybody. And that's why these online dealerships don't work, because the simple reality is people want to try something before they spend $30,000 or $40,000 on it.
And
it just hasn't worked.
And they want somebody that's not a convicted ex-con that they're doing business with.
That
Yeah.
Congressman Analogy, I never thought about it like that, but that makes so much sense. Everybody hates Congress, but you love that. You don't like
Yeah.
dealerships, but you love the relationship that you currently have had or have had. That makes perfect sense.
Where do you think, I want to hear your prediction on this, Gerald. Where do you think the future of car dealerships are? Because obviously car dealerships are protected. The franchise dealers are protected by laws. Where are there going to be dealerships the same way we know them, in your opinion? Or do you think that the dealerships are going to change and we're going to have these little kiosks, kind of like Tesla's doing?
I don't think so, because Tesla's talking about selling used cars now. And Tesla's
Really?
having enormous problems with their service departments, because their service departments, it's not like a
They don't
big
have the
Chevy.
infrastructure like the big boys do. They don't have it.
No, here they have a little garage in an industrial park behind Arrowhead Stadium. That's the Tesla service facility in Kansas City. And it's like a 30-day wait nationally to get your Tesla serviced. And they've been pulling people out of sales to go do service to try and diagnose software problems. So they're either going to need to work with guys like you, right? And then they'd have to pay.
Kidding me?
No. And they'd have to pay.
So they're using people like Jay to try to fix a car?
Yeah. To do software updates. But
I will pay to watch that. How do I pay to watch that? Because I'm serious. I will pay to watch.
I'm very good with technology.
I'm going to laugh my ass off.
Don't you think? I mean, at some point, they're going to have to address that, because the thing that's going to start hurting Tesla too, I think, is that.
That's why the big boys will just blow them out of the water, because they don't have the infrastructure.
It's easy to compete in something with nobody's trying, right?
Yeah.
You can do it. If you're the only person trying, okay. But now, last month, Hyundai, if they really want to do it, they're good at everything. They are now, I think they were the number 2 EV manufacturer for American purchased cars last month. Yeah, and they just started. Now they're trying. Ford is going to really try hard real soon. They just made a $6 billion investment in EV batteries, and the Lightning's coming out. GM, they're bringing out the Lyriq, which is going to be an amazing vehicle, the Cadillac. They have the Hummer available. They're starting to try. EV. Toyota's starting to try. Volkswagen's trying hard. Right here in Kansas City, on the Kansas side, Johnson County, the state of Kansas just signed a deal with Panasonic for the biggest investment ever in the state of Kansas, a $4 billion EV factory from Panasonic that's going to spin off an additional $4 billion of investment in suppliers. And they already signed a contract with one of the biggest junior colleges in the country, Johnson County College, to start training workers for the factory 2 years before it even opens. So if you really believe in Tesla, okay, but I think Ford probably has a chance with thousands of dealerships, hundreds of factories and facilities across the country. And it's not like Ford and Toyota and Honda and Hyundai and Volkswagen don't have really smart people working for them. They do. And if they see, hey, this is where we need to go to avoid getting crushed, they will. And when everybody's trying, is Tesla's no negotiation, no dealership model. And by the way, if you want to get your car serviced, it's down in the valley next to the river by the motorhomes behind Arrowhead Stadium. Or you can go to a beautiful $15 million facility with a heated 3-lane service drive, with a quiet room, with free Wi-Fi, with Starbucks coffee, with pizza, with cookies, with muffins, with a Coke Freestyle machine, with your own TV. Relax, we'll do the service, and then you can drive home. Or you can drive down to the little warehouse in the industrial park down in the valley by the river, across from the mobile homes behind Arrowhead Stadium, and wait a month.
Wow.
I
that's
think the
crazy.
$15 million facility with the free Starbucks, the free pizza, the free muffin ends up winning, you know?
This is incredible. Thank you so much. This has
Sure.
been just, I mean, this is exactly what I wanted our audience to be able to hear today. This is raw and uncut. This is straight insider information. We want to hear your comments. Leave them below. We want to hear what you think about this. And what did you learn today? Because I learned a lot. And there are certain things that Gerald Bentley can do because he is inside the dealership every single day. He's a great, great guy. He's one of the good ones out there. Gerald, thank you so much for coming today.
Sure. Glad to be here.
We all learned a lot, and we hope we're going to have you back on in the future.
Yeah, great. Look forward to talking to you guys.
Thanks. Everybody. Have a
Bye,
great
everybody.